Hello, I am Red Mage, and welcome to a Magic the Gathering video featuring the color red. In today's video, 1-drop Tribal. We're going super low to the ground with 1-drops, pump spells, and Picnic Ruiner. A subscriber, Ryan, commented about this style of deck and got me looking more into an idea I had abandoned. We have 21 1-mana creatures, the usual suspects of Kumano, Swiftspear, Phoenix Chick, then Voldaren Epicure, Cacophony Scamp, and 1 Falkenrath Pit Fighter. When I first started building this deck, I expected to play 4 Pit Fighters and 4 of the other 1-mana 2/1 in Standard, Embereth Veteran. It's super rare that red gets a 1-mana creature with 2 power, let alone 2, unlike white, which has them all the time, and I wanted to take advantage of that. But it seems like those cards are just not as good as the other 1-drops. We're playing 12 1/1s instead. But it makes sense why. Phoenix Chick has flying and haste, Voldaren Epicure is our only form of flood prevention, and Cacophony Scamp goes well with all the pump spells. And then there is Picnic Ruiner, which I wanted to play to also take advantage of our pump spells. And we have 1 Feldon because, well, it's just a great card, as well as being one of our only forms of card advantage. You could play many different assortments of creatures. You certainly could try playing literally only 1-drops. You could play Cemetery Gatekeeper, which can push through extra damage with its ability, and it has First Strike. You could play Charming Scoundrel, which is just a generically good card. I settled on Picnic Ruiner because I already wanted to play Cacophony Scamp, and the 2 of them in the same deck really sets you up for some explosive, pump spell-induced wins. For the pump spells, there are a ton of choices here too. Obviously, Monstrous Rage is the best. Hammerhand is one I overlooked at first, but the haste and prevention of blocking can really get you over the finish line. And then we're playing a 2-2 split of Blazing Crescendo and Stolen Vitality. The trample on Stolen Vitality is great with Picnic Ruiner, but the card advantage of Blazing Crescendo is really helpful as well. You could play Ancestral Anger, which gives you trample and card advantage, and it's only 1 mana. But it's a sorcery, and it doesn't give as much extra power. Or you could play Antagonize, which gives you 4 extra power and 3 toughness, but it doesn't give trample or card advantage. And finally, the mana base. One of the primary benefits of playing such a low curve is that you can play fewer lands. We're playing 18 here, which is 3 to 5 fewer than a traditional mono-red aggro deck would play. We're not messing around with Mishra's Foundry or Mirrex. With this many 1-drops, we can't afford colorless mana. And then to Copperline Gorge. The adventure side of Picnic Ruiner is not something we're terribly interested in. It's 4 mana after all, so I don't want to lose the percentage points against aggro decks by playing Pain lands. But 2 fast lands should rarely negatively impact us, and it at least gives us the possibility of casting Stolen Goodies if we need to. I found this deck to be way more successful than I thought it would be. Enjoy the gameplay, and we'll be back at the end to wrap up. Obviously, we're keeping this hand. The question is what to play first. I think it's Epicure, and then we'll Swiftspear plus Scamp on turn 2. Primarily because we don't want them to cut down the Scamp. Hopeless Nightmare. It's probably the Play with Fire. That's a useful card against them. If we had the Epicure still in our hand, we would discard that. Or at least assuming this is either Anvil or some kind of Braids deck. Yeah, let's do that, I guess. We're on the play, so we want to kind of take advantage of that and be more proactive. Alright. So Since they're doing nothing and leaving mana open, I think we just attack with everything and then play Picnic Ruiner. Oh, they don't have anything, it looks like. Well, if I'd known that, they could have Path of Peril. That would be crazy. If I had known they didn't have anything, I would have Blazing Crescendoed in my main phase so I could play a land and Monstrous Rage, if that's what we exiled. Surely a Hopeless Nightmare deck wouldn't also play Path of Peril. But we'll see. Okay, well, whether they're playing it or not... Okay, so I think in this case, we want a Blazing Crescendo on the Epicure. That way, if they're going to fizzle the Crescendo, they kill our least valuable creature. And if they have nothing still, the Picnic Ruiner will have Double Strike. Okay. So, we 2-for-1'd ourselves there. But that's not such a bad result, because it got the Go for the Throat out of their hand. Okay. So the question is here, are we going to risk the 2-for-1 with the Monstrous Rage? I don't think so, because we don't really have to. We get a Swiftspear trigger, and we can play with fire their face. So they probably have something, and they'll probably kill the Swiftspear. But that's fine, right? Like, if they use up all their stuff, then we've got Scamp and Ruiner left over, which are our best things to pump anyway. So let's go and do that. And if they have nothing, they're dead. But, of course, they surely have something. Yeah. Another Go for the Throat. That's fine. Play with fire. That's good. So I think it's too risky to sacrifice the Scamp there, because they could have like a Virtue or something, Virtue, or Trespasser, that's a perfect example. And they would be able to just get out of range. Okay. Okay. We want to Monstrous Rage the Scamp. See what happens. Okay, they have nothing. Alright, great. In that case, we have it locked up. I mean, I guess we don't, right? They could block the Picnic Ruiner with a Trespasser and chump the Scamp with the Curtains. Okay. I'm pretty okay with this, because the Scamp is now a 2/2. If it dies, Play with Fire can finish them off, and we've got the Kumano flipping next turn as well.
Nobody knows Dominaria's shadows like me. I've always hated crowds.
There you go. This is a very good hand. The question is what order to play our things in. I guess we play Epicure first. It's a tricky thing because Epicure and Scamp are the ones that don't have haste. Scamp is the one we don't want to get killed the most. Alright. So here I think it's Chick plus Scamp, and then next turn we can Swiftspear Monstrous Rage the Scamp, depending on what they play, of course. Alright, Pilfer. Quite unfortunate. Well, that Monstrous Rage would have gone a long way. Wow. That's bold. They're going to have something good. Like a Sheoldred, for example. Even that might not be enough if we draw something. Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty good for us because we can just get it back. So here we want to target our least valuable creature. That's the Epicure. Even though, obviously, the Scamp gets us more damage. Alright, that's fine. We've still got 3 creatures. Take the action. In that last turn, we could have just as easily not cast the Crescendo, right? We could have done nothing, attack, bring back the Chick, and just wait for them to do something, and then we can Blazing Crescendo something they don't target. That's probably the better way to do it, actually. I think often you want to Blazing Crescendo first, but because in that case we knew we were going to use the rest of our mana on the Phoenix Chick anyway, better to just go ahead and do that and leave Blazing Crescendo open for whatever they don't kill. This is an incredible hand. On the play specifically, it'd still be good on the draw, but on the play, this is exactly what you want. Well, one of many potential exactly what you want. Okay, so I'd rather play the Swiftspear here so that we can get the Prowess trigger from playing the second Kumano, but that would allow them to cut down, so I'm going to play the Epicure first. That also gets our non-haste creatures out. Looks like they don't have a cut down. Sir Ginger, the Meal Ender. I mean, what are they going to do? They've got to trade with something. They don't have to, but it's not like they can not block and expect to win. They should be blocking the Kumano there. What? Hall of what? Creative Power Stone. Okay. I mean, it seems like it's an Anvil deck, probably, right? Either that or a green-black artifact synergy deck. I guess we just Blazing Crescendo whatever they don't block, or whatever they do block. and see. Alright, so would we 3, 6, 8? Not necessarily, so let's kill their thing. Alright, this looks good to me. Scamp into Ruiner with Monstrous Rage, plus we've got 2 Swiftspears to go with it. Alright, so this is mono red control. So what are we worried about? We're worried about Brotherhood's End. So I think here, Swiftspear plus Kumano, they can kill something, whatever, depending on what removal spell they have. And then next turn, if they do Brotherhood's End, we've got Swiftspear plus Monstrous Rage. That's not the worst. And if they have nothing... So it's possible they have a removal spell, but they're saving it because they also have a Brotherhood's End. Yep. So this gets the Swiftspear around Brotherhood's End. And we've got 2 Monstrous Rages. Oh, okay. Well. So Hammerhand plus Monstrous Rage is lethal. So we play Hammerhand, and if they have a removal spell, we Monstrous Rage in response to get it out of range. They have nothing. This is very tempting. These are the difficult decisions with this deck. So on the draw, I think maybe we keep it. On the play, it's so risky, but there's so much going on too. Yeah. Alright, that's pretty good. We'll put the play with fire to the bottom, because we're on the play, we want to be more proactive, and we've got 2 flyers anyway. So, if they have a cut down, I want to attack, and then we can Monstrous Rage to save the chick. But if they don't, I want to play the second chick, of course. Looks like they don't have it. Virus Beetle. Okay, well, we don't really need more than 2 lands most of the time. I think we go ahead and fire off here, just push through some damage. That also puts our monster roll on something we mined dying less. We definitely just attack here, force them to trade. They don't want to do that. Understandably. So here they have to block. This is 8 damage exactly. And then we're left with 3 Phoenix Chicks and a Kumano flipping the next turn. And they're at 3 life. Seems good. We can do turn 2 Epicure with haste with Hammerhand if we want to. I don't know if that'll be something we want to do. Crawling Chorus. Okay. I think we attack here, expecting them to block, and we'll Monstrous Rage and then play an Epicure. Alternately, we could Epicure plus Hammerhand and prevent it from blocking, but I think we'll wait to do that for when they have a bigger creature that might be in the way. What is this thing? Okay. This seems pretty straightforward. We Hammerhand the Epicure. Make the glider unable to block. And then we'll cycle a mountain at the end of their turn. Oh, keep a Reckoner raid. What? Why? Why would your Toxic deck be playing that? So it looks like they probably have a Go for the Throat or something. We're just going to attack here. If they have some kind of pump spell for the glider, so be it. It looks like they do. Ah. Oh. They proliferated our Kumano. Did they do that so they could kill it on their turn? Maybe. If not, then it doesn't matter too much. Except, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Although they didn't know that we were going to play this Epicure, so that makes them block it. There's a good chance it was just a mistake, though, too. That they didn't mean to click on it. I'm fine with this. Just attack with everything. Whatever trades happen are fine. And push through more damage. I'm not going to bother play with fire on the Nezumi Road Captain. If they do something like prevent all damage. Okay, so in that case, deal to creatures you control. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and kill their captain now then, to prevent it from eating the Kumano. This is a strange soup of cards. This looks like a good hand to me. Against mono red, do we want to just get the Feldon going? Probably. We're on the play. Let's just be fast. I'm going to play the Scamp here, especially since they don't have a Kumano, just to make sure it's ready to go in case we draw a pump spell next turn. Definitely not blocking the Feldon with the Scamp. It would get 2 triggers. That would be a disaster. Okay, so chances they can kill us next turn. Extremely low. But I think our action is the same either way. We're just going to play the 2 Epicures after we attack with everything. That's fine. Presumably they block Scamp and Epicure. Sure. So, since their Phoenix Chick can't block, it makes sense to consider targeting them with the Scamp. That puts them to 4. 2 Epicures put them to 2. And then Swiftspear plus Hammerhand is lethal. Yeah. Or we could be safer and just kill the chick. I think we wanted... We're far enough ahead. There should not be anything they can have next turn that will kill us from 13. Especially because we have potential blockers. This is a really good hand. Depending on what they have... Actually, probably we're going to end up playing the Picnic Ruiner on turn 2, no matter what. I think the only thing that would make us not do that is Basic Island. Alright, so... I guess we could consider it here. If they have Lightning Strike, they kill the Picnic Ruiner. They're still not even that far ahead, so I think it's worth doing. Next turn, then, we can Swiftspear, Phoenix Chick, Hammerhand, if we want to. Definitely not blocking. Nice. So that is great for us. Swiftspear, make sure we get the Prowess trigger. Hammerhand on the Ruiner so that we get max damage. It's going to be very difficult to kill a 4/4 in mono red. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's not that bad, right? Like, now they have nothing left. They can't play that mountain even. And they've got a 1/2 to block. Does this... We'll be 1 short. So I think we let them block so that we can get the scry. That is what we want. Perfectly keepable hand. This is good. We can Phoenix Chick plus kill the Swiftspear. That puts us behind a turn on the Kumano, but I think it's worth it to... I think it's worth it to make sure they don't have anything going on. Yeah, I think we just play all our stuff here. I think we put the Hammerhand on the Phoenix Chick. No, we should probably go ahead and put it on one of the ground creatures so it's easier for us to keep attacking. Although at the same time, yeah, it probably doesn't matter too much. I guess we could have held back the Kumano since they knew it was safe to block. It shouldn't matter much either way. Yeah, so this is why it's probably better to put it on the Epicure than the Phoenix Chick. We want the Phoenix Chick to stay alive. Looks like they're going to kill it anyway. They're probably going to block, but we'll give it a shot. Oh, double block 1? Huh. I think I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't have a choice, but... That puts us in play with fire range. And if they don't have a removal spell, any pump spell is going to be good for us. Alright, well, they're going to start going off. Alright, that will do it. Alright, well, this is a great hand. We will keep it. Opponent mulliganing. Playing a mountain first, just to hide the fact that we have the Copperline Gorge, doesn't matter too much, but concealing information. Okay. We really don't want them to block, because we want to play the Picnic Ruiner, but it's so unlikely that they will block. Very few people are going to block in that spot. Okay, here we go. Off to the races. I think we prevent them from jumping here. Yeah. And we're back to wrap up. This deck is a lot of fun. I will say right off the bat, it's super high variance. You're going to win almost all of your games on the play and lose the vast majority of your games on the draw. That being said, I did have a positive win rate. I went from Mythic 95% to 97%. If you don't mind the high variance, this is definitely a deck that you can rip through a lot of the Mythic metagame. This deck does give you the possibility of winning on turn 3, and it can be hard to overestimate how helpful super explosive fast wins can be in a metagame filled with super value-laden decks. If you give this deck a try, please let me know in the comments what card choices you went with and how they worked for you. The deck list is in the description. I'll see you in the next one.